Hi, my name is Jenny Lauren Dowden for Conduit News, and today we have Dr. Patrick Wolf once again joining us in the studio. We really appreciate having him come in and do a series of interviews about school choice, not only across the state, but very specifically here in Arkansas, and really to help debunk a lot of talking points that are repeated over and over. Today, we want to talk to you about something that we see a lot on social media. It's a talking point from the left, and it says that school choice is just for rich kids. Help us understand that. Is that true? And does research support that?
This is the easiest myth about school choice to debunk because school choice is an alternative to the current situation, where we don't have choice policies. Now we have small ones in the state of Arkansas, but generally in many communities, there are only three ways to choose your child's school. You can move to a neighborhood and sort of pay up for your mortgage to get access to a high quality public school. You can self-finance private tuition, or you can homeschool. Those are the three, absent government policies, those are the only three ways to choose your child's school. Now, what do all three of those have in common?
Yeah, particular resources. You have to have a lot of them.
You do. You have to have a lot of resources to exercise those three forms of school choice. And so the motivation for school choice policies is to level the playing field and allow families who don't have a lot of resources, who can't self-finance private schooling, or take one of the members of the household out of employment in order to focus on leading a homeschool. So those take a tremendous amount of resources, and school choice policies can actually step in and help level the playing field.
Talk to us then, why is it such a compelling argument that is used for opponents of school choice to say this over and over? And honestly, to me, it seems a bit hypocritical at times, where they seem to be pushing equity across the board, giving as many choices and options, except when it comes to school choice. Help us unpack that.
Well, I think part of it stems from the fact that we sometimes associate private schools with rich families. And it's true, there are some private schools that are very exclusive, have expensive tuitions, they're like elite prep schools, but they are a distinct minority. I mean, most private schools are run by religious organizations, they have relatively low tuitions, they're very inclusive, lots of families have access to them. So really private schooling is not as exclusive as people view it as. And boy, you make it even less exclusive if you provide families with resources that help private schools enter into their school choice set.
Okay, so let's say that happens, but opponents will still say, yeah, but limited resources for particular families, they're not going to be able to, say, for instance, transport their child to another school that's not in their zip code. Is that accurate?
So that is often raised, transportation is often raised as this insurmountable barrier for working class families and lower income families. We don't see that happening in actual school choice programs. In many of these school choice programs, transportation is required. So if the schools participate in the choice program, they have to arrange for the transportation of the child. In other school choice programs, especially in cities, public transportation is available. And so the children, especially high school age children, are given a bus pass or a metro pass. And that's how they get to school. That's how kids in public schools get to school in some of those cities too. And in many cases, what we see these cooperatives emerge. The school will organize parent transportation cooperatives. This is all sort of part of the organic way that communities come together and solve challenges. When you give parents resources, give them the freedom of choosing schools, they'll come up with a solution. They'll find a way for their child to get to school safely, even if they aren't a rich family.
Anything else that you want to add regarding this particular topic, that it's just for rich kids?
Well, yeah, so there are 64 school choice programs in over 30 states across the country. and 62 of them are limited to students with disabilities or students from low-income families or both. There really are only 2 of the 64 programs that are open to higher income kids. So that just demonstrates so clearly how school choice programs are not for rich kids. If anything, they're primarily for disadvantaged populations of children, to give them access to the specialized learning that they can often find in private schools of choice.
Thank you so much for joining us and answering this question for us today. Look forward to having you back on again, Conduit, soon.
Thanks for having me, Jenny.